Oh, hey, you guys, this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to give you a little teaser about what's coming up with new Sportz, so get ready. You know, maybe I'll get away with this without having to hear that famous intro that we have, that now we don't have to chase people away with the sweaty and the crusty and all that other stuff. So in the meantime, what we're going to do is find out how many of you guys are, satisfied with the teams that are now going to the Super Bowl. But number one is new Sportz. Sex is wrapped around sports in some kind of way, always, and that's how we cover it. Today's going to be one of those comparative analogies of which team performed the best, and there's some shocking statistics, not that I'm going to get into it a lot, that probably most people didn't even pay attention to. How does teams move forward if the quarterbacks don't perform up to speed? And that was one of the revelations, because when you look at it, the best performing quarterback actually was on the losing team. So in the meantime, what I'm going to first go to is, Mario, do you know what's all the Twitter, my brother? I'm just going to ask you. You don't have to say anything else, but there's a Twitter impact. You know what the main subject is?
Because everybody is mad. Everybody's mad at the Chicago Bears quarterback.
Oh.
And they're all saying, first of all, Chicago fans, they're happy people by nature.
Right.
They are. They really are.
They are happy people.
But sometimes they get a little caught up.
Here's the part that makes me laugh. Okay. The first thing I had to come up with is, what happened to the Cutler, what I call it, why does Jay Cutler not have the Brett Favre gene? Which is basically, hey, win at all costs. Throw your body into everything you can. Pull out every ounce of competitive spirit, even if you physically are debilitated.
Well, why are you saying that he didn't? So you're one of the people saying that he didn't?
No, I'm asking the question.
Maybe he was not able to perform.
Well, that's what they're saying. But now
the coaches defended him.
Why? Well, wouldn't they?
I don't know.
Look, wait a minute. I'm just saying. Isn't it obvious that the question that they're asking, and I agree with you, Mario, I don't think you should indict Jay Cutler for whatever lack of performance, or if he has a true injury. It doesn't make sense to turn around and go like, everybody gets injured, why is he getting the wrath? And I think the wrath is not because of what happened in this game. I think it's because he has built up this reputation that preceded him as being more of a prima donna, not a true leader, raw talent. And basically, when he was in Denver, there were some issues there about him and leadership skills and some other things. So he gets to Chicago, things get better. And I think what has happened is people in Chicago looked for any reason to turn around and blame someone. And what they were to me saying was, there is no better quarterback that can back him up. We'd rather take him at 50% than the second string and the third string. So to me, I think Chicago was looking for any reason. I mean, if it was another quarterback that got injured, would they be all up in flames?
Well, I think, first of all, it's a huge rivalry.
Yeah. It's
a huge rivalry, and they performed poorly. Isn't it amazing? Both of the teams performed kind of poorly and then tried to make a comeback.
Right.
And let's face it. No, it wasn't just that, Vic. How about the mental errors about the quarterback substitution? And people are making that point. This is a team that has 5 head coaches on it.
Right.
5 of their assistant coaches. When you count, 5 of the people on that coaching staff have been head coaches.
True.
And all of them missed that. Now, I didn't even know about all those rules, but they should know.
Right. You hit the nail on the head that if anything that happened here, they caught the part of do not exhaust your quarterback and backup players, and they missed it on the end of the third quarter with about a minute or so to go. They could have held on with the current quarterback so they can have somebody as a backup to the third string quarterback, I believe, and I cannot remember his name, so please accept my apology.
No, they had Collins came in and then Haney.
Right.
Haney, I think of Green Acres, Mr. Haney, the guy used to come by and sell the goods.
You just reduced it down to Green Acres. Okay. All right. No, and look, admirable position that he was in, because although he threw 2 picks, he energized the Chicago Bears on a comeback enough to make it competitive. And so I give him all the props in the world, because, when you're thrown in, basically Chicago needed everything to come together to beat Green Bay. I still say Green Bay was favored, even with Jay Cutler being at his best, because I just thought they had more explosiveness on the offensive end. So why is Chicago all tripping and attacking him? Now, even if he has...
they lost. It's real simple. Let me name cities where if you lose,
right,
you need not come outside.
Right.
Philadelphia.
Let's go.
Chicago.
All right.
I'm trying to think. Those are too big. Well, see, Dallas is not so bad.
Right.
And, New England, they're not even that bad. As bad as but Philly's pretty bad. New York can be bad.
Right.
By the way, because there's a study that came out, we'll be doing that tomorrow, the rudest cities in the United States, and it's not what you think.
Hey, do you know what, Mario? If you look at shocked, stunned, and expected, it's already there. It's already there. So let me just say this. Okay, here's the part that gets me. It's interesting that we look at here, and I'm looking at the score. The final score was 21 to 14. Green Bay. It was a tighter game, but here's the part that gets me, Mario. Aaron didn't perform as well. He started off in the first half doing pretty good, but he had a low percentage rating as it relates to quarterback.
But that's why those things don't tell the whole story.
Right.
The percentage rate doesn't tell the whole story because when it was necessary,
right,
he was wonderful.
True.
Just wonderful. And actually, the Bears were good in that to do the comeback.
Right.
You just can't start off like that. Both teams, both games.
Right.
Green Bay started off firing. Pittsburgh started off firing. Chicago and the Jets came out half-stepping.
Right.
So.
Okay, so
you can see it probably too big on this. If you just have to run it from the other, I guess you have to try to.
Oh no, I got it. I'm good over here. I already got it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring up some questions. We had two different games here, and what I did is basically look at what was the I guess you can say the hot topic between both games, because I'm gonna go over a couple of things just to mention some things, and let's see, what do we pull from it? And I think we already touched base on it. But Pittsburgh and New York, what was hot there? Steelers' first half game plan, the dominance was overwhelming, 24-3. Here's the first time where I said the actual defense, the defense of New York Jets look weak. Couldn't blame it on Mark Sanchez. 2, New York Jets' second half adjustment, very good. Did you think about how they had 19?
Yeah, both teams adjusted from what appeared to be poor tackling and things like that in the first half. Both teams.
Right. So you saw both. You saw that.
In other words, that's what I thought was so interesting. Pittsburgh started off with a bang.
Right.
So did Green Bay.
Right.
Chicago, no. Jets, no.
Okay. You're right. Now here's some other stories. We go on before we get to Green Bay, Chicago. I still want to highlight Pittsburgh, New York Jets. Rashard Mendenhall, 121 yards rushing. I mean, it looked like nobody could stop him. Was that bad defense by the New York Jets, or they just overwhelmed them by power? They just had them
bad. Well, one of the things that I think it was coach that one of the they were doing a review,
right?
And my man, former Tampa Bay coach, former Raiders
Tony Dungy.
No, the young.
John Gruden.
John Gruden
yes.
was pointed out there when he looked at the films from the last game between the Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets were the one team that were beating them up front.
You got it.
So no, the point is they didn't come through. Previously in the previous game they did it.
Right.
This game they didn't, and they weren't. They weren't tackling. They
True.
weren't making the hits. They
True.
weren't making the stops that they needed to make.
Right.
And hence, I was rooting for, even though I like Pittsburgh, I'm an old Jets fan. I kind of wanted them to have it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with rooting for Pittsburgh. But on the other hand, I actually like Green Bay because I like Aaron Rodgers. The only team I didn't want to see in the Super Bowl was Chicago Bears.
Wow.
And there's nothing terrible against Chicago. I just knew it would be a boring game.
Yes.
And they weren't going to take it anywhere. They weren't going to be competitive, and it was going to be a boring game. True. That's why I didn't want Chicago in there.
Yeah, and you know what, to go to
boring. I would have had to start cooking some other food, maybe doing some stir fry.
Okay, and here's a point just to note on the Pittsburgh Steelers as we close out against the Jets and go into Chicago and Green Bay more. The idea that the losing quarterback threw 2 touchdowns and no interception, the winning quarterback, Roethlisberger, throws 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. When have you had a team move forward where the quarterback, basically the mainstay of the offense, has a terrible performing afternoon and they actually win? I mean,
Brett Favre used to do it all the time.
You know what? You just had to holler at the old
You know
man.
what? And that just goes to show you how important statistics are.
Right. You hit the nail on the head, Mario. Now, Green Bay, here's some factors that we're going to go in and say, hey, what happened here? Why did they win Green Bay over Chicago? Bears coach Lovie Smith pulling quarterback Jay Cutler without hesitation. Well, we don't know how that came about. Did Jay come over there and say, my knee hurt, my ankle hurt, I want to come out? Or was it one of those things where he was performing so poorly, Mario, that they said, okay, something has to happen?
I saw, first of all, I must admit, in my general impression, usually when you get to the playoffs, that's way too early to pull your starter. So I was really wondering what was going on. I still wonder, how did he actually come off the field? Did he pull himself or who pulled him? But either way, that followed up by the coaching mistakes about how quickly they pulled the plug on Collins.
Right.
So they really look now who's doing now? I have to assume this is Mike Martz.
You hit the nail on the head. I have to assume. You have to put it there, right?
So then it looks like franticness.
Yes, and I think you did a great handicap on this. It looked like they were searching for something. One is Jay came out the gate not performing well. Balls are thrown kind of long. You see that basically he was rattled. Okay, we got that. So the next thing comes up. Jay is under attack post-game, of course, because they feel that he should have still been able to come back. And I think what they were saying, we trust him more, even with his poor performance in the first half, to come back on a gimpy leg. Would you agree to that choice, or would you put in your second string or third string quarterback?
If he can't perform, he can't perform.
I agree.
It's like you could argue that's where it becomes harder because some people are so good that even limited,
right?
They're phenomenal.
Okay.
I watched Joe Namath drag a leg into the backfield and throw. So, but I'm not sure that's the way you play the game.
I agree. And here's the part that I think they were looking at. A quarterback's supposed to be the leader. They said while he was hurt, he says a lot of players say even while they're hurt on the sidelines, they're rallying up the other players, especially if you're the quarterback. He isolated himself. There was no energy to go over there and basically let me help and support. And what they're getting on him about is they can't question the injury as much. It's the idea that it looked like, well, I'm injured. That's it.
He looked depressed.
Yes.
He's had a bad moment.
He had a bad moment.
He needed a hug. And I'm just saying, why should we be macho all the time? Even if it's in macho sports. Sometimes he just needs someone to rub him on the head.
What?
Come on, guy.
You're wrong.
It's only a game.
You're wrong. Well, you know what?
But they just can't muster that up, Vic.
That's true. Now, closing out on this was interesting because I didn't even look at this until the end. Aaron Rodgers, he throws for 244 yards, 0 TDs, 2 interceptions. So 2 games back-to-back. The ranking top quarterbacks throw 0 touchdowns and throw 2 interceptions, and they both come out winning. I thought it was a quarterback game. What happened, Mario?
I'm telling you, it's just like when they tried to switch Darrens on you on Bewitched and act like you didn't even notice that there was a new Darren.
Okay.
All of a sudden one day there's like a new Darren, I'm just saying.
Help me.
They always will do that kind of stuff to you, sneak stuff in there.
Okay.
And that's why, besides sports, we should just watch porno. Because they both lead to the same level of gratification.
You know what? Here's the part that you guys have to understand. We stayed on course here with the subject being more on sports and lasted almost 15 minutes without him going.
You missed me, didn't you?
That's right. He went to the other side. So I applaud. We stayed on track for 15 minutes and then he went there. All right, it's time to go to handicapping the Super Bowl, man. You ready for that Super Bowl, man? I mean, you're going to tell the public.